one place, 13 years old boy was killed by a falling stone while he was still in bed, and his two siblings also has been severely injured. Now rescue operations are still ongoing. There is still many areas which are very hard to reach. People are going there by foot or by helicopter. But even in this very difficult time, Afghan people, Afghan communities are showing very strong resilience. They are very well organized on the local level. And that will make us possible to deliver area-based interventions directly to those communities and directly to those people who are suffering. And we're looking forward to start our early recovery operations and to help those people as soon as possible. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Anatoly. We'll now take some questions. Deji?
Hi, this is Deji with China Central Television. We know this is not the first time we have an earthquake in Afghanistan that caused massive death tolls in the country. I'm just wondering, is there a way to build resilience for the next time? Because it seems this is never going to end. Thank you.
Please, go ahead, either Stephen or Anatoly.
Let me start, because it's an excellent question. And this is why I mentioned that the building resilience is not a short-term project. What Anatoly said earlier, that the poorest are usually the most affected, whether it's by earthquakes or floods or any of these major disasters. The poorest are the ones who build houses close to riverbanks. And so when there are floods and flash floods, they're the ones who suffer. The poorest are the ones in Herat and here in these villages who have mud houses. The poorest are the ones who don't have assets. And so when there's an economic shock, when they lose their jobs, they have nothing to fall back on. Addressing that requires us to deal with those structural issues of poverty and unemployment in Afghanistan. And this is a context because Afghanistan is one of the very poorest countries in the world. Its GDP per capita is close to the very bottom of the list. The economy today is smaller than it was in 2011. When the Taliban took over and the government collapsed, the economy also collapsed by a staggering 27%. So poverty and unemployment are extremely high. And so the kinds of investments that are needed are investments in job creation, in revitalizing the economy, in providing communities and people with proper healthcare, with proper education, but also investments in basic social services, in people having access to water and energy. This is what works in every other society, including the developed societies of Western Europe or the US. It is the poorest who are always the one who suffer again and again when a crisis hits. And that's what resilience requires, building in that manner.
Thank you. Yeah, Amélie, and then go.
Thank you. Amélie Botelier from AFP News Agency. You mentioned the emergency appeal that will be launched in a few days, but I guess it's for emergency relief effort and humanitarian aid. But a follow-up to Deji's questions, rebuilding is something else. So do you have any kind of estimates of how much money would be needed and how long would it take to rebuild everything that's been destroyed, but in a better way for it to be more resistant to any future disaster? Thank you.
Thanks for the question. It's a really great question. Two things. One, within the humanitarian country team here, we have said that we want any flash appeal that goes out to include both the immediate relief and humanitarian assistance component, as well as the recovery component as well. So we expect that flash appeal to include both components. But secondly, I wouldn't want to go ahead of OCHA because there's a coordinated effort being made. I mentioned there are 25 assessment teams on the ground currently that's looking at the needs based on the damages that have been that have occurred. The World Bank is also looking to do its own damage and loss assessment using its methodology. We're using satellite image from the area, and we'll pull all of that data together to address both the immediate humanitarian needs, but also the recovery needs for those communities. For UNDP, we estimate an initial 8 million for the kinds of work we would like to do, including rebuilding shelter, transitional and permanent houses for the communities, rebuilding some of the roads, providing energy, renewable energy for these households, etc. But that's just one small component of the broader picture. But we'll have a complete picture by the 8th of September is the projection from OCHA.
Thank you. Yes, please go ahead.
Jennifer Levine, Interpress Service. Given Afghanistan's political isolation and that many countries do not recognize the government, how is the UN working alongside the Taliban to effectively provide aid?
That's also an excellent question. And the simple answer to it is, when it comes to humanitarian natural disasters or man-made disasters, the humanitarian principles hold: humanity, impartiality, independence. And so we have made this case to the de facto authorities from the very beginning, whether it is dealing with the droughts or the Herat earthquakes or other disasters that have occurred, that these principles are fundamental. Now, the interesting thing is, I think they've learned some of these lessons from the past. We had some difficulties initially, for example, in Herat, getting access for some of our female staff to attend to females in some of these communities. But from what we've seen in this current disaster, they're working hand in hand with us, coordinating very closely. And by the way, these are very mountainous regions that are otherwise impassable. And so we can only get to some of these places using their helicopters and their assets, and they're making those available. But they're also allowing female aid workers to access the regions, usually, of course, with a mahram. And as I indicated earlier, they're also allowing females to be transported to hospitals and health facilities to receive treatment. So I can say it's been almost exemplary in this particular instance. And I guess there's been some growth in that relationship since over the last couple of years, and a full understanding that humanity comes first, tending to those most in need, irrespective of ethnicity, of gender, of anything else. We must provide assistance to those who are in need.
Thank you. We'll go online. Iftikhar.
Thank you, Steph. Thank you, Steph. Sir, this is Iftikhar Ali from Associated Press of Pakistan. With all the roads damaged in the impact area, how are you delivering aid to these survivors?
Anatoly, do you want to speak to that?
Yes, many roads still are locked. As I mentioned, they are very poor quality initially, even before the earthquake. They were unpaved, and there is no protection against landslides. Now, with the support of the de facto authorities who providing the heavy machineries, those landslides are being removed, and all humanitarian assistance now starting to reach those areas. I also know that they use helicopters to deliver some medicine, some essential medicine to the affected areas as well. And also, they deployed military forces to go there by foot and to deliver needed support in this way. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any other questions? Thank you all. Stephen, Anatoly, thank you so much for joining us. I know it's very late there and you guys have a lot to do, but we hope to welcome you back soon. Thank you all.
Thank you. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.